Well, we're on our way. We headed out about 5 o'clock in the morning, try to beat the traffic and get a head start out. Drive wasn't too bad. We ran into a lot of fog and a little bit of rain up in the mountains, but there wasn't any traffic or normal vans that you see traveling, no buses, kind of just us on the road. It's pretty nice drive. Nothing really crazy, but it was a long ride. It was a 6.5 hour trip to Mae Hong Son. But you know, we made a few stops, and this next place was a coffee shop that I saw off to the left. It was kind of like had a Halloween type theme. Uh, Really nice. She had witches all over the place. First time I ever, well, not the first time, probably one of the times that I've actually kissed a witch. But it was really interesting. The lady was real nice. We sat down and had coffee and cookies and kind of relaxed, used the bathroom, and just kind of looked around a little bit, took a few pictures. But we were pretty fortunate that we had decent weather to travel in. That's road kind of dangerous, and especially during the season when there's a lot of vans and a lot of people coming from Pai and Mae Hong Son. So we were fortunate that we pretty much had the road to ourselves. Uh, could take our time and didn't have anybody riding on our butts, trying to make us go faster. So it was an enjoyable ride. Uh, Not too much to speak with, a lot of turns, and you'll see in the next part of the video, we made some steep climbs and descends and twists and turns and all kinds of different things. But it's just part of it. If you want to go there, that's part of the things that you have to deal with. But it wasn't a bad ride, but it could have been a lot better and a lot faster. Had the road been straight, and I spent a lot of time trying to explain to Lek why the road's not straight. It's got to go around the mountain or got to go around a tree or whatever. They just don't do it. Go right through them anymore. But the scenery was very nice. We had a lot of good views on off to the right where you can really see what's out there. A lot of greenery and blue skies. It was just really a nice, peaceful, relaxing trip. When we got to the top of the ridge here, we ran into they had a scenic overlook, which you'll see. And we got out and stretched our legs, used the bathroom, and bought some corn. And I got my first Diet Coke in a long time. Uh, but you could tell that these places were really hurting because there are no tourists, absolutely none. There's the view from on top of the viewpoint. It's really pretty. You could see for miles and miles and miles. This is a lady that sold the corn. It's kind of a funny story. The first day we went through, we bought corn from her, and Lek bought it, and I stayed over by the parking lot. And, she charged Lek 15 baht for a corn cob. We went back, stopped on the way back, and I walked up with Lek because I wanted to get a closer picture. And she charged us 20 baht a piece. So, that's kind of the way it is. They see a farang and they're going to, oh, he's got more money. He can pay more. But this is the panoramic view of where we were standing. It was really beautiful. And it wasn't real hot. We were kind of early in the morning, and it was nice and cool, and nice breeze going, but you can see for miles and miles. It's just absolutely beautiful. And back headed out, and both of us were getting, we had the corn and walked around a little bit. We stopped at a little uh, roadside uh, restaurant on the way and got our food. And, people are really kind, glad to see us really, because we're probably the only ones that stopped there. They haven't seen tourists in so long that they forgot what we looked like. This is the lady that was cooking our food. And I think we paid, I think 120 baht, about $3 or $4 for that plate of food. And we're back on the road again, headed towards Mae Hong Son. And next part of the video will show us coming in through town. Nice little town, kind of quiet. Like I said, there's nobody there. Every place was kind of like a ghost town. A lot of the places haven't, reopened after COVID. So there really, you could tell the strain was on. This is downtown Mae Hong Son, and that's it's going right down 1095, which is the main road going through town. And you can see a lot of these shops. There's just nobody there. And usually during the season, they're pretty much packed. We found that a lot of the restaurants were closed, and they haven't reopened yet. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. I don't know. It's kind of depends on when, Thailand opens up for tourists. Right now, we don't know when it's going to be. They keep saying, next month or whatever, but I'm afraid they're going to put so many restrictions on coming here and so many stipulations on coming here that people aren't going to want to come. And it's bad for the people because they depend on the tourists. So it's they're just kind of like a wait and see type thing. Right now we're coming up to our hotel, and our hotel will be up here on the right-hand side. And really pretty view from the hotel. You'll see when we pull up, there's a temple just past the hotel that I spent a lot of time just walking through and just looking. It's different from the normal Thai temples. These temples are Thai, but they're more Burmese style than they are Thai style. And now we're pulling in, and you'll see a couple on a motorcycle. And as we pull in, and they had ridden up from below Hua Hin, which is about probably maybe 700 or 800 kilometers. But they'd rode up on their motorcycle. I think they had stopped a few places on the way. But we saw them at the Overlook. They were getting some drinks too. And it was a nice hotel, real friendly staff. The room was nice, it was clean. Furniture, your normal style Thai furniture. We actually had 2 rooms instead of 1. And it was comfortable. It slept well. It was very, very quiet because, like I said, there's nobody there. Had a great big swimming pool. I took a dip in the afternoon because I was kind of hot after some walks, but it wasn't bad. I think we paid $29 or $30 for that particular hotel room. It was clean, comfortable, and it was close to everything, so we could walk around and see what was there. And as I say, there wasn't really a whole lot to see. We stayed there one night, and the next morning we got up and walked up to the temples, which you'll see here in just a few minutes. Very beautiful temples around there. But that's kind of the room. It was comfortable. Bed was very comfortable. Normally when you stay in a Thai hotel, the bed's like a rock. This is the temple right next door to the hotel. And it's Burmese style. A lot more gold, and this is the lake out in front of the hotel. Very beautiful at night. I think the next picture comes up. Yeah, that's the temple at night, and it just lit up very, very nice. But it was an enjoyable thing. There's a little girl delivering eggs inside the temple, real cute. She's kind of turning around as I caught her picture. This is some of the architecture in the temples inside the temple. Really beautiful. And but it was just, you see this stuff and you especially if you've never seen it before, you kind of ooh and ah. This was just a guy and his dog sitting out behind the temple right by the pond. He was talking to some guy. And now later on I walked up to the temples up on the mountain, it was a good walk. It's probably about 1.5 miles. These are some of the houses on the way that I took pictures of. Interesting doorways. Most of them were wood and had some kind of design to them. Now this is up to the pagodas, and this particular temple, in the back they had a lot of pagodas that people they buy those things and they put their bones in them and then they set them at the temple. This was a monk just sitting there reading his scripture, and I could hear him. I didn't understand what he was saying. But it's really, really pretty and peaceful. When you go to a temple, there's usually nobody around, and it's so peaceful and relaxing. I oftentimes in Chiang Mai, I'll just go out, on the motorcycle and just stop at the temples, just walk around, look around, and just relax. It's so peaceful. But and the architecture is so beautiful, just right down to every minute detail. And this was the other side of the actual temple. They had more pagodas up there. It's really nice. And you see that little red sign there? I'll get a little bit closer to that in a minute. There is a cave that was dug up underneath those steps. And those steps right there in front of that red temple there. And I have no idea what it was. I've got a video looking at it. It's really kind of interesting. I don't know why they would put it there or what it was actually used for. And I wasn't going to go in and look, that's for sure. Thailand has a way of hiding snakes in places where you don't want to find them, but they usually find you. It was really beautiful and just peaceful, and the wind was blowing. It was really nice. Now this is a picture of the cave, and it's definitely man-made because it's dug into the rock. I'll get around to the side and you can actually see inside of it. I don't know where it goes or what it's actually for, but it was kind of interesting. I've never seen anything like that in any of the temples I've ever been in, but it's definitely some type of cave. There's a sign up there that'll show up in a minute, and I don't know what it says. I haven't asked Select yet, but sometime at a point in time I will. Probably says do not enter, but I don't read Thai, so I don't know. It was really an interesting trip, and it was quite a long walk. You get your exercise. Now this is another temple. It was right next door to this one, and you can see that tall staircase going up. And that's a temple at the bottom. And there's the statue. And there were two little kids that were out there, two little monks that were cleaning it. And I'll show you a picture of those and just those two kids in just a minute. There they were. And what they're doing is people come up and they'll place candles on the underneath the statue, and the candles drip wax down, and these kids are chipping the wax away. They're very young, and notice the tattoos on them. But there's the steps leading up to the top of the temple, and it was a good walk. And this is what you see when you get up there. And it was a tremendous view. I thought I had a picture of it, but I didn't. It was really, it's kind of interesting. And there's, like I said, there's nobody there. You're there by yourself. And very peaceful and quiet, and hear the birds chirping and the wind blowing. It's just a very, very good experience. I enjoyed it. And there's the steps going down. They were hard getting up, I could tell you that. By the time I got to the top of the temple, my shirt was soaking wet. And going down was easy. Here there's a video of walking down the steps and to the steps. I didn't try to take a video going down because I know I couldn't hold the camera and do a decent job. But it was a lot easier going down than it was going up. It doesn't really look that steep from the video, but it really was a long haul. This was a trip that Lek and I made, and we walked about 2.5 kilometers up to this temple on the very, very top of the mountain. You can see everywhere. You see I'm soaking wet. And that's the airport behind me. It's in between the mountains and the temple. It was really, really beautiful. Like I said, the wind was blowing, but we were still sweating. It was a long walk, and it was steep. And sometimes you can walk, on a flat surface for 2 or 3 kilometers, and it doesn't bother you. But when you start putting an incline to it, you start to feel, you find out what kind of shape you're in. And this is another temple on top of the mountain. Like I said, it was really pretty, and the architecture to these things they amaze me every time that I see them. These are bells that people buy and place on the temple. And after that, I needed to eat. And it wasn't a whole lot of choices. And Leck knows I love pizza, so she hunted out a pizza place for me. It was okay. Cracker pizza, which is not my favorite, but I can't be a beggar. Now this is coming into Wine Rak Thai. It's after we had traveled about, probably 40 or 50 kilometers up the steepest mountain I've ever been on. I mean, it was steep and hairpin turns. But that's where we stayed, and it's a tea farm. And there wasn't, like I said, there's Leck. There wasn't a lot to do there. It was beautiful, but like I said, off season, a lot of the places were closed, and the choice of food was very limited. There was only 2 places. There she bombs my picture. She jumped out in front of the camera. I was trying to take a picture down the road. Some pretty flowers, and the next picture comes up. This is a Chinese peach, and I was able to get one, and it tastes just like a regular peach. It's a little bit smaller, not quite as sweet. And here's a drone overshot of the whole city, and you can see up on the mountain. Right on the top of that mountain is a house, and I have no idea how they get electricity or even get up there, but it's right on the very top of that mountain. But it was beautiful. But like I said, to me, I mean, it's the first time I'm there, and it'll be the last time I go, because there was nothing really to do. You couldn't walk around because there's really no place to go. And, like I said, every place was closed, and it just, it was something to see. But I think what a lot of Thai people do is they'll bring their own food in there, and they'll get a room, and, they'll eat outside and enjoy the view and then go home the next day. But for the drive, for me, it just wasn't worth it. It was nice to see for once, but definitely something I wouldn't do again. And I really wouldn't recommend it for anybody that's not in decent physical condition, because you've got to walk up steps and lug your luggage and everything else. So it was, it was something to see, but something I could have passed on. And there's all the cabins. There's probably about 30 of them out there. And even for this was the first day that they've opened since COVID, and I'd say there was probably about 6, 7, or 8 of the cabins that were full. And most people just came and spent the night and left the next day, just like we did. And that's the mountain. And right, probably on the tip of that mountain is Burma. We're right on the border of Thailand and Burma. And this kind of overshows the tea farm. And they were out picking tea every day. When we were there, you could see them picking. And then they had a little place down at the bottom where they processed it that they had all kind of covered up so you couldn't see what they were doing. But and that's some of the cabins, and we stayed a little bit further left. I don't think I get over that far on the shot. It was pretty, but it wasn't worth the 40-kilometer drive up the mountain and then back down the mountain, because there was probably the most treacherous road I've ever driven on in my life. And we just took our time, went slow, and somebody got behind us. They just had to go around us. But the views were tremendous. I mean, it was a pretty view. But you can see this all over Thailand. Every place you go in Thailand is a different view. Now this is in Pai. Pai was basically deserted. We stayed one night, and you can see I didn't take very many pictures. There wasn't anything. Most of the businesses were closed. Some of them were for rent. I was able to get a hamburger, and that was about it. Other than that, it was all Thai food. And there, like I said, there wasn't anybody there. And about the most exciting thing was the chicken. But that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoy sharing this stuff with you, and I'll try to do some more. We have some more trips planned, and hopefully things will start lighting up, and we'll get around a little bit more and show you all Thailand. Thailand's beautiful. I love it, and love to share it with everybody. But anyway, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.